Welcome back to This Day in Irish History. I'm your host, Raymond Welsh. Before we dive into today's story, if you'd like to explore other significant events that happened on this day in Irish history, visit thisdayirishhistory.com. The link is in the episode description. Now, let's journey back to April 12th, 2005, when a shocking act of violence pierced the fragile peace of post-conflict Ireland, the murder of Joseph Rafferty, a young man whose death would reignite the debate about paramilitary influence, political accountability, and justice in the shadow of the Good Friday Agreement. Joseph Rafferty was a 29-year-old father of one, working class and well liked in his community. He lived in the Ongar area of West Dublin, far from the front lines of any conflict, yet his death bore the hallmarks of a society still haunted by its recent past. On the morning of April 12th, Joseph was leaving his home for work when he was ambushed and shot at close range. He died on the pavement just steps from his front door. But this was no random act of violence. Joseph's family had been sounding the alarm for over a year, warning anyone who would listen that he was under threat. They claimed that the threat came from individuals linked to the Provisional IRA, or at least individuals using the reputation of the IRA to intimidate and menace. The Rafferty family had appealed to politicians, Gardaí, and community leaders, desperate to protect Joseph. Tragically, their warnings went unheeded. Joseph's sister, Catherine Rafferty, worked as a Sinn Féin constituency secretary at the time. She personally approached senior members of Sinn Féin to raise concerns about the threats against her brother. She would later testify that although party figures offered private assurances, nothing concrete was done to de-escalate the situation. In the weeks following the murder, the family took the extraordinary step of publicly accusing individuals with paramilitary connections of involvement, and they did so without hesitation, knowing full well the risks. The killing sent shockwaves through Irish society. It came just 7 years after the Good Friday Agreement, a landmark peace deal that aimed to end decades of violence and lay the groundwork for a new political order in Northern Ireland. Yet the Rafferty murder underscored the persistence of so-called shadow justice, extrajudicial threats, and violence carried out in the name of enforcing discipline, often by those with former or alleged links to paramilitary organizations. Joseph Rafferty was not the only victim of this kind of violence in the early 2000s. Just a month earlier, another high-profile case, the murder of Robert McCartney in Belfast, had also sparked outrage. Like Joseph, McCartney was killed after a barroom dispute. And like in Joseph's case, the perpetrators were widely believed to have connections to the IRA. Together, the two murders shone an unflinching light on the uncomfortable reality that peace on paper did not always mean peace in practice. Public outcry over the Rafferty murder was swift. Then, Taoiseach Bertie Ahern acknowledged the seriousness of the family's claims and called for a full investigation. Sinn Féin, under increasing pressure, denied that any sanctioned action had been taken by the IRA, but stopped short of an outright denunciation of the individuals accused. For many, the case highlighted the need for clearer lines between political organizations and paramilitary groups, especially in the Republic of Ireland, where such influence had long been considered less visible, but no less real. Despite the high-profile attention and political fallout, no one has ever been charged with Joseph Rafferty's murder. His family has continued to campaign for justice, refusing to let his name be forgotten. Over the years, they have spoken out courageously against intimidation and in favor of the rule of law, often in the face of silence or resistance. Joseph Rafferty's death remains a painful symbol of the work left unfinished by the peace process. It reminds us that building peace is not just about ending war. It is about ensuring justice, accountability, and protection for all citizens, no matter who they are or who threatens them. His murder demands that we look honestly at the legacies of violence and the responsibilities of those who aspire to lead in a democratic society. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Ireland's complex and often sobering past. Please like and subscribe, and until next time, I'm Raymond Welsh. Slán go foil.